Okay, apologies in advance if you hear a dog barking in the background occasionally. There is nothing I can do about it. The dog is still a puppy after all, and it's crazy. Anyway, it has been a week since Persona 5 The Phantom X has released globally, and in case you have been living under a rock, this is, I believe, a China-based gacha game using the Persona 5 formula and set in the world of Persona 5, but with an all-new cast of characters, with some references to the cast of Persona 5. So, this will be not only a one-week review, but an overview of the game entirely. So, with that, let's go into probably the most important aspect of the game, and that's the pulls, or the gacha. So, unlike other gachas, this game's currency, which is called the Metal Jewels, can be used for contracts, arms, steals, and recovering stamina. You don't want to do that last part, by the way. It's not worth it, unless if you're well. You just get those by normally playing the game, doing whatever you need to do, and then you also have your special passes, which are the platinum tickets. So you have that. And then you get cognition crystals, which is basically your paid crystals. So, the way the gacha works in this game, it's a 50-50 as well, just like any other gacha game. But the pity is 80, and it will actually show you right here. And the amount of pulls you need to do or the amount needed for a single pull is 150 gems. So you need 1500 for a 10 pull. Whereas with this, the weapon banner is actually 1000 gems for a 10 pull, i.e. 100 gems for a single pull. Now, I don't know if this banner is a 50-50 system or a 75-25. I haven't checked. I will edit in what the rate is. And much like in Wuthering Waves, you do get a separate currency called the Platinum Millicoin. Coins that can be exchanged for melee weapons can be used in certain arms deals. So much like in Wuwa, you get a unique summoning thing instead. And then you obviously have your standard banner with the gold tickets. These are the current standard banner characters, and so far, from what I can understand, standard banner is going to get more units as time progresses. I don't know who all of those units are, but these are the current 5 units, 3 of which are free. Mona, Skull, and Panther, with Ren and Riddle being brand new to this game. I'll go into the characters a bit more in detail. I don't have these two, but I would definitely not recommend her, because she is a debuffer, basically. And much like in Star Rail and Zenless, after 300 pulls, you can select a 5-star of your choice, which is cool. You do have a discount banner, and unlike in other gacha games, with the discount banner, you can actually pick the character that you want. For me, I picked Panther, just as a thing. Next, let's actually talk about the characters. So, unlike in most gacha games, where the main protagonist is kind of fucking useless, Wonder, depending on how you build him, or depending on what personas you give him, is actually really fucking powerful. So currently I gave him Amano, Izume, and Lamia, for instance, and Lamia I have built to have elemental coverage, because in Persona titles, what I tend to do, gameplay-wise, I tend to have the main character have all of the elements that are missing in my party, or just all of the elements on his character. That's what I tend to like to have. But unfortunately in this game, you can only have up to 3 attack skills. Thief Tactics is basically your highlight or your one more. Instead, your highlight is basically your ultimate. Once you reach, I believe it's level 30, Wonder can only have 3 personas at a time. You can have multiple personas at once in terms of holding them, but you can only utilize 3 personas in combat, which is stupid in my opinion. Where can I go? Each character has a different role. This character, named Leon, or codenamed Leon, is a strategist, buffs ally stats to improve their combat abilities. I believe this is Lufel with Robroy, his persona, and he is a medic. This save specializes in healing skills that restore the party's HP. So for you Star Rail players, he's basically an abundance character. Now, unique to Persona 5, the Phantom X, but not Persona as a whole, Persona as early as Persona 3, I think, because I don't think 1 and 2 had navigators, have a character that's off the field of combat and just helps support the party. They're called the navigators. They help to navigate through whatever extraterrestrial dimension they're in. So the role is called Elucidator, helps allies from off-field with buffs and support skills. Here's Closer, and she's a sweeper, deals with groups of foes through multi-target attacks. For you star role players, that's basically destruction and erudition, essentially, combined into one. I believe we already took a look at strategist, yep. So Tomoko, my favorite character by the way, is a strategist. Elucidator. Assassin is a class, takes down single target enemies with targeted attacks, so basically you're the hunt path from Star Rail. And then the Saboteur path, which debuffs foe stats to give the party the upper hand, which is basically nihility for you Star Rail players. And then your Guardian, protects allies and increases the party's defense, so essentially like the Preservation class from Star Rail. For characters, there's a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17-ish on launch. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 5-star characters at launch, with Joker being the limited character so far. We are getting 3 new banners coming up. I believe one of them is a healer, one of them is Fox from Persona 5. I don't remember the other one's class, but be on the lookout for them. So, training is basically how you just level up your dudes. They all have their own unique weapon. There is no weapon type in this game, unlike in, say for instance, Genshin or Wuthering Waves. Only Shun, for instance, can equip a Steel Tomahawk. He's the only one that can use the Steel Tomahawk, or just a Tomahawk in general. So, there's plenty of weapon variety in this game. Revelations, once you get to level 30, I believe, it's either 30 or 35, I think it's 35, you unlock basically this game's gearing system. I haven't delved too much into this, because I'm not going to yet until I can get guaranteed gold. And apologies again for the puppy in the background, I can't shut it up. In Persona, you can see your 4 skills. Your skill 1, skill 2, skill 3, and then your Thief Tactics, which again is your burst, and then the one more, which is basically like a baton pass, but much worse. And then 2 passive abilities. Right here you can see your stats, HP, attack, defense, and speed. Up here you can see a unique trait, like Wild Runner for instance. Here you can see the rewards you get, so much like in the Hoyo Big 3, you get rewards for ascending your character, which is awesome. So awareness is basically your dupes, which, as you can see, Leon is at 1 dupe, and I can go to 2. And I believe it takes 6 in total, so you need to get 7 of one character, which is pretty expensive, not gonna lie. I think that's everything for the characters. Press the magnifying glass to see all the attributes: SP, recovery, attack multiplier, nuclear multiplier, ailment resistance, their weapon, attack, their speed, rating, okay. You know, active set effects, and then skills. Doesn't really show you them, but yeah. I'm going to save the what room for last, because good god, do I have a lot to say about that. So for synergy, this is basically your confidants, social links, whatever the hell you want to call it. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 characters on launch that you can interact with and just progress through their story. I believe Lufel, though. Lufel is the only one that is auto-progressing, so get through the story and you will unlock all of his stuff. You have the voice actor up here, you have their level up here, the synergy ability, and then the next rank. They have their likes, their rewards, and then the profile. So for instance, with Tomoko, she likes part-time magazines, Shichi-kun dolls, Choco Stick Value Pack, Cat Hairpin, Heart Ring, Strawberry Bento Box. You get the picture. And if you give them a gift, you can in fact give them or get more experience with them. If you go to rewards, it will show you all of the abilities and stuff you get from them. And then you go into profile, and it basically tells you everything about the character that you could ever want to know. And then voice, obviously. Huh. How's that kindness reach level 5? Okay. So if it's locked, it will tell you how to progress with them. That's good. In terms of prioritization, God, she's really cute. I would prioritize Tomoko and Morope. Morope will allow you to unlock more personas. So for instance, at rank 5, you can now fuse Archangel. At rank 7, fuse Atanta. Rank 9, fuse Anubis. 11, Okunonushi. 13, Narcissus. Then 15, you may receive an extra seal when fusing a 2 or 3-star persona of rank 4 or lower. And then, final rank, you can now fuse Code View. Just as an example, with Tomoko, you unlock more jobs, which is very good. So at rank 1, you can now work at the crepe shop in Shibuya. At rank 5, which is, in my opinion, the one you should be going after, you may get a boost to a social stat when working part-time, which is insanely invaluable. Which, let's speak about the special stats, shall we? Because it doesn't work the same as it does in Persona, or in base Persona games. So you go to City, and here you can see your social stats. So you have 5 social stats in total, much like in Persona 5. You have your Charm, Knowledge, Guts, Proficiency, and Kindness. And you can actually see how much experience all 5 need to level up. Unlike in other Persona games, the max level is not 5, as you can see with Knowledge. The max level is 20. Yeah, the max level is 20 for all 5 of your stats. So that's a bit much. But anyway, since we're already here, let's go into this. After every day at reset, action points, energy needed for city life activities. 5 points are restored at 8 PM UTC. You can do the time calculation for that, depending on where you live. I'm not going to bother, because that would be way too long. So you got 2 pages of activities you can do. So for instance, I can work at the convenience store, the crepe shop. I can see a movie, which is going to cost me money, which is just yen. I can study at the library, I can read at home, or I could go to the arcade if I reach proficiency 8. Here where Wander is standing, he gives you little tidbits about some of the stuff. I should try fusing that persona Morope was talking about, or asking about, for instance. And then I heard there's a new movie playing at the theater. You have 2 actions for after school and evening, so choose your actions wisely. Now, what do you prioritize? In my personal opinion, you want to prioritize stuff that will increase your social stats first, especially social stats that will lock you out of continuing your stuff, or your synergies. So since I am currently locked with Tomoko, I am going to have to prioritize either going to a movie or reading at home for my kindness. I am saving working so I can get Tomoko's next thing. So, let's now talk about prioritization as well. Furthermore, as I said, you want to prioritize your social stats first, and then once you have basically no funds or very low funds, or you finally reached that level with Tomoko, you can start working at places. So there's that. What next? Awards, don't really need to talk about shopping. Let's talk about shopping really quick. Very cute character, by the way. I like her design. So you get training sets after each set level. You also get a daily gift for free. Yeah, I really liked her design a lot. This is basically where you buy everything. Not much to talk about that. Your plant. This is pretty important. Plant is basically your starting beginner like free shit, basically. Once you complete all 7 of these, you can get one of these 3 characters for absolutely free. And then for the Plan 2, you can get one of their weapons for absolutely free. I believe these are the 4-star... Oh, no, they're the 5-star weapons. Awesome. So once you complete all the plans, and you complete every step in the plan... I don't know how to do this one yet. Because it doesn't really say, like, clear stage 1 in 2 episodes of the Velvet Trials. Okay, where is that? Anyway, so you want to complete all of those. Contracts are your summons. Goals. This is your dailies. Now, unlike in other gacha games, you actually get 80 of your crystals, or 80 crystals, every single day, because this can be done 4 times a day. This is where a majority of your XP for Wonder is going to be put towards. And you're more than likely going to hit a roadblock at some point where you're going to have to just play the game on a daily basis to then unlock level 30 to go further into the game. You have your weekly stuff as well, which this is all XP for your Battle Pass, and then you have the season stuff, and then you have your Battle Pass, which is the regular, and then the Special Pass, just normal gacha game bullshit. Events. I mean, what more do you need to say about these? These are events, just do them at your own leisure, but make sure to complete them before the deadline. I'm not really going to go over Thieves then, because I haven't explored it much, but just as a thing, it's basically you can explore in this place and put down a bunch of stuff and get currency. So I'm going to do this, level up, obtain P metal. Cool, don't care. I'm just going to escape, or just thieve. Alright. Next, let's go to the Metaverse, actually. So, the Metaverse. This is where you're going to be spending a majority of your time in, especially in the realm of repression. You get 240 stamina each day. I think it takes a full day to reset your stamina. I don't know. Your training materials is here. You have your boss in Recollections, and then Pursuit of Honor, which is FIFA level up materials. Pursuit of Parts, which is weapons. Pursuit of Persona, which is, well, Persona level up. Pursuit of Treasure, which is your currency for this game in terms of upgrading your dudes. Alluring Aroma is how you upgrade or advance characters to the next stage, so like going from level 10 to level 20. Gear Forging, same thing. And then Enlightenment is how you level up your Persona's abilities. Personas, there are a bunch of different floors. This is only for Wonder, though, I will say. And this is where you're going to be spending a majority of your time for Wonder, because you need seals in order to fuse a bunch of Personas. I'll get into that in a minute. Once you get to level 35, you can start grinding for Revelation cards, which again is basically just your gear system. So think artifacts from Genshin, relics from Star Rail, disc drives from Zenless, or echoes from Withering Wings. And I believe they even have a set bonus as well for them. Yeah, 2 set, 4 set. So you can have an off piece, I believe. Again, haven't delved too much into them. You have the Velvet Trials, which is basically just complete this in a certain amount of time. It's kind of like your endgame mode-ish, but it's not repeatable. At least not this one. The Velvet Trials, on the other hand, is repeatable, I think. But I'm currently not going to be doing that. So, Nightmare's Gateway is basically kind of like a online guild mode, so to speak. Again, haven't really touched it much, so I'm not going to talk about it. And now, let's get into probably my least favorite aspect of this game. The Velvet Room. So, in the Velvet Room, currently, you have your Persona Fusion, Persona Training, and your Persona Compendium. In Persona Training, quite simple, you can enhance Special Training, which basically just means level up the Persona. You have your Teach Skill, which means any one of these skill cards can be put in. So for instance, if I do Matador, I can get one of these 3 skills, if I choose. And then details, I can check my skills, my level, weaknesses, etc. You can hold up to 500 personas. I currently have 52. I do not know how to get rid of them. I don't know how to delete these guys yet, because I would like to have no clutter whatsoever. And Persona Compendium. Unlike in other Persona games, you cannot buy back Personas. So if I go to Agathian, there is nowhere on here for me to spend my Kanpaku gems to buy him back. Instead, it says how to get contracts, which is through the summons or exchange. And I have to use repression medals instead. I do not like this. I think it's stupid. I think it's way too overly grindy. Because if we go into Persona Fusion, notice how all of this says not registered. A large chunk of Persona says not registered. However, when it goes to a red tag instead, it'll say registered. When you fuse a persona for the first time, you get that persona. However, you do not get a fusion seal. Now, fusion seals are a means to fuse personas together. Unlike in other Persona games, where you take two personas, so for instance, you have a High Pixie and a Korpak Guru, you take those two, you fuse them together, bing bang boom, you get Isis. Does not work in Persona 5 The Phantom X. What you have to do instead is you have to fuse High Pixie first, and then you have to fuse her again to get a seal. And then you have to fuse Korpak Guru twice to get a seal of Korpak Guru. And then, fusing the seal of High Pixie and Korpak Guru, do you get one copy of Isis. In other words, you need two copies of High Pixie and Korpak Guru to get one copy of Isis, just as an example. And this is true for every single persona in this game. Wonderful. That, to me, is flat out stupid. It gets worse. Remember the Teach Skill department? Yeah. So if I give Janosig Elagor, for instance, I can have him learn Forget Boost, Double Fangs, and Memory Blow, right? However, much like in Persona 5 and Royal, teaching your persona boosting a persona with an old persona will increase its level and whatnot, so to speak, and you'll also get a skill. However, what they didn't tell you is that it's a random skill. So, I have a 1 in 3 chance to get one of the skills that I want and desire. Unfortunately, much like how I said about the Persona Compendium and that you can't buy back a persona, you will have to make a persona multiple times to get the seal that you need, or to get the move that you want on your persona. Trust me, I went through this with Lamia and Ameno Izume. Ameno Izume, for instance, if I go into her details, she doesn't traditionally come with, I believe it's Shock Boost or Elect Boost, I don't remember which one, but it's one of these two skills that she does not traditionally come with. So I had to look for a persona that had one of these two moves, and feed her the seal of that persona in order to get one of these two on her. And I had to go through so much for that. That was insanely annoying. To fix this issue, we should be able to buy a persona back from the Persona Compendium with our Kanpaku gems. We should. Because in Persona games in general, the Persona Compendium allows you to buy back a persona for a threshold of yen. Depending on how strong the persona is, it costs more yen. And depending on the moves that it has as well. I feel like they should do that for this game as well. I think the seals is stupid, and at the very least the seals for the persona side of things, in terms of the things you spend your stamina on, I think that's stupid. I think needing multiple seals to make one persona is stupid. I think needing to fuse a persona twice to get only one seal is stupid. Yes, you can buy personas from the shop, but that requires a outside resource that you can't that you get a finite of. And yeah, overall, really fucking stupid. I think that went over everything. I believe, anyway. Gameplay is your traditional turn-based gameplay. You only have 3 skills though to use. You have your highlights, so if you, for instance, I'm gonna get out of this menu. If you, for instance, knock an enemy down with their weakness, you get a 1 more. Now, unlike in Persona 5, where you get a baton pass and you get to use their skill, they automatically use their skill, or use a skill just in general. Now, with Wander, when he gets tagged in, depending on the persona's element and class, so to speak, the persona will deal elemental aligned damage like that. So for instance, with Lamia, she will do fire damage. If I have Yanosea equipped, he'll do bullet-based damage. I think that is everything there is to talk about, I believe. So for a summary and a too long didn't watch, contracts is how you summon your dudes. You need 1,500 of your gem, or 1,500 jewels for a single temple. If you lose the 50-50, you get the character guaranteed on the next go around, but you need another 80, so to speak. Your soft pity is 80. Pity does carry over, I forgot to mention that. Weapon banner takes a different currency, but same jewels. It's 10 less, and this costs 1,000 gems instead. This is your standard banner, and after 300 you get to select one of these 5 characters for free. You want to do your plans because you get a 5-star character for free and a 5-star weapon for free, but you need to complete all of the steps first. You can't just do this one and be done. You have to complete the steps. Goals is your daily missions. You can do them 4 times a day, and you get 80 of your jewels a day, or 80 jewels a day, which means you get a pull every 2 days, because that adds up to 160. Genshin could never. I apologize. Shop is where you go to buy stuff. Synergy is your social links. I highly recommend focusing on Tomoko and Morope. Morope being in the evening, so you want to be on the lookout for that. Lufel is automatic. You can give them gifts to help boost the experience they gain through that. Velodrome is atrocious, and how you will fuse personas for Nagisa. There are at the very least 17 characters as of launch, and there's, I believe, 5 classes for the characters. 2 of which are DPS classes, 2 of which are support, and 1 is a healer. What didn't I go over yet? I think, and you get this refreshed, you get 5 per, or you get 5, you can hold a max of 20, so if you don't want to spend on one day, or you can't play the game on one day, or don't want to do it on that day, you can very much still hold 20, so the limit is 4 days. On that 4th day, you are going to want to play the game at the very least, and spend a minimum 5 if you can. You want to prioritize one of your 5 social stats. Ideally, you want to get all of them, or you want to work on an equal balance with them. So for instance, I want to try and focus on Guts and Kindness to get them to level 4, and then work on all 4 of these to get them to level 5, and then so on. But I am going to be working on Kindness for Tomoko. Only do your jobs if you have yen, or if you have low amount of yen. You can use yen to, for instance, see a movie, probably go to the arcade if I had a guess, and for buying gifts, that's pretty much all it's used for. Oh, I didn't really talk about it. Let's go home really quick. I forgot about this. So at home, there's two activities you can do without the need, technically 3, without the need of spending your points in the city. There's the gardening, which takes, I believe, in-game days to do. Or not in-game days, real-life days to do. And then there's cooking. He walks so fucking slow. Cooking you are going to want to do, especially the first time bonus, because you get a bonus. And then you also have crafting. Workbench. It doesn't teleport me there because I'm already at home. Going at the workbench, instead of raising kindness, will level up your proficiency. But it is very expensive because of the materials you need. But you do get a bonus for crafting, which is very nice. You want to do your events at your own leisure, but make sure to complete them before the time the limit is up. Up here you will see your main mission, and I think that went over everything. For a too long didn't watch. In regards to who you should pick for your persona, or for your free 5-star character, on Morgana, or just, on Morgana, Ryuji. That is how I would rate them. On is a very good fire AoE attacker, Mona is a very good sustain, and Ryuji is a physical DPS, not at all a lightning DPS. So I would not recommend him at all because not every enemy is weak to physical, but most enemies can be weak to lightning. I don't even think there are enemies weak to physical in this game yet. At the very least, none that I've seen. But if an enemy is immune or resistant to fire, or not fire, immune/resistant to attribute damage, then Ryuji would be a really good pick. But anyway, I think that's all from me, and a review and overview of Persona 5 The Phantom X. What do I think of this game? I think this game is really good. I do. It could definitely use some polish in the animation department, because it's very, so to speak. Again, I don't know the rate for the weapons. I don't know if it's 75-25, 50-50, or 100. I am going to look that up, and I am going to post about that in the video while editing. The Persona system, in terms of fusing for Wonder, is janky as fuck. It needs to be changed. But if it's like this in Cyan, then I highly doubt it's going to be changed. But that's just a pipe dream at this point. Would I recommend this game? If you're a fan of Persona 5, or if you're just a fan of Persona in general, I would. It's a genuinely good game with good characters. OST is somewhat similar to Persona 5, I mean, of course, but it does have some new soundtracks to go with it, thank God. Another negative I actually have to say about it is Mementos is fucking huge. It is so fucking huge, and you are so incredibly slow. It is absolutely obnoxious. And unlike in Persona 5, you don't gain experience the normal way. You have to actively spend stamina to get your XP cards to then feed your characters. So by fighting enemies, you don't get XP at all. But, well, even if you do, it's very little. Which is stupid in my opinion. But anyway, I think that about covers it. If you have any questions or concerns about the game, and anything that I didn't really go over, or if you need me to explain again because you didn't pay attention, I'm sorry that I'm so bitter, I will talk and explain in the comments. But I think with that has been, I have been Rikishi, and this has been the Persona 5 The Phantom X overview. I'll see you next time.